You know, guys, it's about that time of the year again where the next Call of Duty is just around the corner and the current Call of Duty that we're playing is just stale and boring and old. With that being said, it is also that point in the year where content creators such as myself, it's about that time where we gotta let you guys know to go into this next game cautiously. The nostalgia baiting that is coming out of Activision these recent years, it is to the point where they are almost guaranteed a #1 hit, #1 selling game, but most of those accolades will actually be guaranteed before the game actually launches. And that is why people like myself are here for. Guys, let's just be straight up about this. Do not pre-order Black Ops 6. And I know there's bound to be some gooch lickers out there. Oh, you're complaining for views again. Oh, you're still gonna buy it. You're still gonna play it.
Shut up, Mimsy!
Yeah, once again, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but just like MW 2019 Part 3, I didn't buy this game, and I've hardly played it in the last like 3-4 months. But guys, this time around, I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering, well, why don't you want us to pre-order Black Ops 6? And obviously, I mean, it's because I think this game's just not gonna be what people are anticipating, just like every single other Call of Duty year. But this time I actually organized a few things for you guys, which are some of the main reasons why I think Black Ops 6 is one of those games that you should cautiously go into. And if you have the chance to play the beta without pre-ordering the game, I highly encourage you to do that before pre-ordering this game. Now, of course, Activision and Treyarch and all these other development studios, they're doing their hardest job right now, which is just generating hype for this game. Of course, the gooch lickers will do like 85% of that, but the other 15% is them just spamming these teaser trailers, talking about Call of Duty next. Obviously, we got some familiar faces like Charlie Gooch Licking Intel and Doug Dimmadome Warzone just doing their best knob polishing job that they could possibly do. I mean, these guys are just, I feel bad for their knees and I feel bad for their jaws right now, right? And the first thing that I obviously need to talk about as to why you probably shouldn't pre-order this next Call of Duty game, and at least try it before pre-ordering it if you do choose to, is none other than our good old friend SBMM. Now, I know, hold on. We've talked about SBMM for like 3 videos straight now. If you need some detailed explanations, I highly recommend all 3 of those videos, but be warned, whenever we talk about skill-based matchmaking or EOMM, there's bound to be a lot of sensitive people out there, and some people who have the tendency to go off the deep end, they might just make a video about you, so you just gotta walk into this topic cautiously. If you expect SBMM to change in any way, you are wrong. If you think SBMM is beneficial to the community as a whole, from Activision's pockets perspective, sure, maybe that's the truth. But if you don't like taking it up the ass and taking these deep, nasty, dusty backshots, these womps, then I just need to remind you that SBMM is not going anywhere. Activision has pretty much confirmed this already. Black Ops 6 will have skill-based matchmaking, and we'll actually touch back on this topic in a little bit. The next reason that I have for you guys to not pre-order Black Ops 6 is just based off of the fact that these developers, at least from what I'm gathering, they're not really in it for the actual game. I genuinely mean, like, when you listen to some of these developers talk about their game, a lot of them are not actually having the community in consideration. What they're more interested in doing is following their vision and just promoting it whichever way they can. And of course, this disgusting trend started with Infinity Ward years and years ago, but for Treyarch to be sort of on the same page as Infinity Ward, it's really not a good look. And this actually just dissolves into like 3 different subtopics right now that we're gonna go over. And the first thing is that there is no pick 10 in this next Call of Duty game developed by Treyarch. Now, once again, Treyarch are the people saying that this is their best Call of Duty game they've ever developed. It is the best Black Ops game in the Black Ops series. Quite the statement. I mean, if you want to talk about me clickbaiting and you want to talk about these shocker statements that I give out, what do you think these guys are doing, you know? It goes both ways.
Now listen!
Now, this one isn't necessarily Treyarch's problem. I mean, I think this is mainly an Activision thing, at least by the way that Sledgehammer Games described it for their game. Activision seems to be pulling these strings where certain mechanics and certain features are not allowed to be in this current game or the next game because they want to use that as a selling point for the following game. Once again, I mean, this just serves as a reason to just simply not support Activision, but that becomes this whole gameplay issue because instead of having pick 10, we have this whole gunsmith thing for like the 5th year in a row, and I know there's some people that legitimately like it. Scadmaster's personally not a fan, so if you're not a fan of this, and you're kind of getting tired of the same pick 10 system, with millions upon millions of attachments just to dry out the player retention, which already just seems like an inauthentic gameplay system that they have embedded within their own design, then maybe walk into this game and this pre-order and this beta cautiously, you know what I'm saying? On top of that, guys, streaks aren't looping. And this is really where I want to talk about these developers, where they're not necessarily thinking about the community as a whole. Instead, they are once again alienating a sub-portion of the community. That portion being extremely terrible, god-awful players. Now, trigger warning, bad players. I am sorry to tell you this, but this is another instance where it's not only Activision, but the Treyarch developers themselves who are trying to hold your hand just a little bit too much.
Sorry.
It's like that little kid in the back of the classroom who just sharted in his pants, and he's just sitting there instead of getting the hell out of the classroom and just ruining everybody's day. Except this is the thing, you're like a junior in high school. At this point, you should have the common sense to either prepare for this situation or react accordingly. And in the case of Activision and Call of Duty and I guess now Treyarch developers, the bad portion of the community who are just god-awful at the games, they need their hand held just a little bit more. And that's where streaks looping becomes an issue because, from the developers' own words, they seem to think that looping streaks only rewards good players. And as a result, bad players will have a worse experience, they'll leave the game, they'll stop playing, and as a result, spoiler alert, we've talked about this before, as a result, they spend less money in the shop. Once again, inauthentic decision making. Inauthentic ideas, inauthentic intentions. You can say you care about the bad players and you want them to get better, but your entire system is created in a way so that they stay bad, but they think that they're decent, and they spend more money with you. Once again, we are going to be playing a game, unfortunately this time by Treyarch, where the bad players will be overly catered to. Good players, this should serve as a red flag for you guys. I highly recommend, once again, play the beta for free without pre-ordering. And yes, SBMM plays a major role in that. Once again, trigger warning. I understand there's a lot of betas out there that are just, I don't even know, they're at their halfway point already. A lot of people out here having a midlife crisis over somebody's opinion about SBMM over here. This next one, guys, is actually a lot more subjective. This is one of those that you might actually end up pre-ordering because you like this, or on the alternative, maybe you end up not pre-ordering because you simply don't like this. And that is just the forced movement mechanics that we're about to experience in this game. We already heard about OMNIMOVEMENT, we pretty much for the most part know exactly how it's gonna work. The issue with this is that it is forced on, always. You no longer have the player freedom to choose, it is always going to be enabled no matter what you do. There is no setting to turn it off. And this is another one of those gameplay designs that Treyarch is making themselves. This could go one of two ways. It could either be one of the greatest things they've ever done, or it could be one of the worst things that they've ever done. But this is the thing, if it happens to be one of the worst things that they've ever done, there is no way for them to undo that. And that is a major risk. And with that, there's a risk in pre-ordering this game or buying this game without actually having tried this mechanic. This is probably the smartest point you will hear in this video. You should genuinely try out this mechanic and see if you actually like it before you spend money on this game, before you actually make the investment to spend $70+ on this thing. Try out the free beta, especially where you don't need a pre-order, and see if you like this mechanic. See if you like the way that the movement is going. And this one's actually going to go a little bit towards the bad players. If you don't think you can adapt to this new movement mechanic that is going to be forced upon you, this is your guys' red flag. Play the beta for free without pre-ordering it and see if you can even keep up. Yes, skill-based matchmaking, they're going to be there to hold your hand, but if you're not actually getting better because of the way that skill-based matchmaking is designed, are you actually going to be adapting well enough to this movement mechanic to the point where you can actually say that you will play this game for a year straight and get your money's worth of $70 from pre-ordering or else buying this game? And even to the people who are going to be playing this game on Xbox Game Pass or PC Game Pass, I know it's a cool addition that Call of Duty is gonna finally be included in something like that, but you need to understand that these people are using this as leverage to get your money before you play the game for yourself. I need to be the one to remind you guys because there's unfortunately just a lot of brain dead morons out here in the community. Play the beta first before you make your decision on whether or not you pre-order or else buy this game. Quick tip, a lot of people have found a way where you can cancel the pre-order after having played the beta. Now yes, when you pre-order, it is a bonus where you get to play the beta like 3 days in advance. If you're not tweaking hardcore and you're not just gooch licking Call of Duty, if you're not a super fanboy, those 3 days aren't really gonna matter to you, alright? I highly suggest you skip out on that pre-order bonus of playing the beta just a little bit earlier. And if you happen to buy it, I genuinely recommend canceling it. Play the free beta first, where you don't need to pre-order anything, and try out the mechanics, try out the feel of the game. See if skill-based matchmaking starts giving you backies. These developers and Activision are talking extremely high and mighty about how this was 4 years of development in the making. I don't doubt that it's been 4 years. What I doubt is that entire 4 years has actually been accumulated into something that is an actual great experience that we see come October or November. I just don't know if it's the smartest thing to pre-order right away without having played the game. We have been playing these god-awful experiences for like 5 years straight, and every single time it's been the exact same thing. The beta comes out, people play it, they have feedback, and when the game launches, none of that feedback has actually gone through. Because these betas don't actually serve as betas for feedback and improving, they are essentially a demo of the game that Activision is giving you access to try out for having already spent $70 pre-ordering the game. This is a big moment in the community where I know there's been a lot of hype towards this already. The zombies community is going crazy over this. The multiplayer fans, a lot of them are excited for a new Treyarch experience. Do not let Activision and Treyarch disappoint you greatly. And I understand, it is bound and it is set up to be one of the greatest experiences that we've had in the last 5-6 years. Do not forget how god-awfully low the bar is post-2019. Just because it is better than those games does not necessarily make it a good game.
Now listen!
When you finally get your hands on this game, just remember what the Scat Master told you. Actually digest this game for what it is during the beta. If you see one too many red flags, take that as a sign to not spend money on this thing. That is the only glimmering hope, the only silver lining that I have for this game at this point is the fact that we can play the beta without pre-ordering it. And when these people come for the Scat Master and then the game launches and there's been no improvements from the beta, just know what the first words are bound to be on that video. Never wrong, just early. But that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I'm curious to know what you guys think about all this. Are you planning on pre-ordering Black Ops 6? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with my newest videos, and yeah guys, it's been the boy Fooly. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out of here. Toodles.
This ain't in my body.